Okay, so imagine you're an author, but your pen, it's a needle, sharp enough to move atoms. And your paper, it's a canvas so tiny it's thousands of times smaller than a single human hair. This is the world of the nanonovelist.
So the question is, how on earth do you even write on a scale that small? And maybe more to the point, what's the purpose? How do you take that incredible skill and use it to build the tech that's going to shape our future? Well, we can find the answer by looking at the journey of a scientist who is right on the cutting edge of this field. And for this explainer, we're drawing directly from an amazing interview with Dr. Yu-Kyung Yu, featured on Under the Microscope. That's the flagship podcast from the Science Talk, which, really spotlights these kinds of breakthroughs in materials and nanoscience.
And Dr. Ryu's work? It's pretty much a masterclass in this. It all really begins with the specific technique she uses to write what we're calling her nanonovel. So her pen is this incredible technique called scanning probe lithography. You'll hear it called SPL. You've probably heard of an atomic force microscope, right? It has a tip that's so sharp it can literally see atoms. Well, SPL kind of hijacks that tip. It turns it from just an eye into a hand, a tiny microscopic chisel that lets you sculpt and build things with insane precision. For Dr. Ryu, getting a handle on this tool wasn't just part of the job. It was a total game changer. She says she, quote, fell more in love with the feeling of lithography. For her, it was just, quote, so cool that you could fabricate such small things in such a high precision. But here's the thing. She didn't just set out to do this from day one. Finding this passion, it wasn't a straight line at all. Her journey to becoming this nanonovelist was, well, pretty unexpected. And her story is such a perfect example of how science careers actually work, They aren't always linear. She started out studying physics, thinking she'd use microscopes just to look at the nano world. But then a PhD spot fell through because of funding issues, something that happens all the time. So she pivoted. She took on a new role, this time using those same microscopes to build things, to fabricate nanostructures. And bam, that's where she discovered this even bigger passion. And that one pivot, that one change of plans, it kicked off this incredible global journey. It sent her to some of the absolute best institutions in the world for what was basically a masterclass in nanoscience. I mean, look at this path. She was honing her skills with a European consortium that included the research powerhouse IMEC. Then she went to IBM Zurich, literally the birthplace of this technology. And then she was leading research at top institutes in Madrid. Every single stop just added another layer of expertise. Okay, so this level of precision is just mind-blowing. But you have to ask, what's it all for? Why does it matter? How does writing on the nanoscale actually help us build a better world? A huge part of that answer, it really comes down to one number: 7. 7 nanometers. This was an absolutely career-defining breakthrough for Dr. Ryu. She figured out how to fabricate arrays of silicon nanowires that are just 7 nanometers wide. And to give you some perspective on that, that's roughly the same width as a single strand of your DNA. Incredible. And that breakthrough, it's not just some cool lab experiment. It has serious, real-world impact. Dr. Ryu's work is now directly contributing to some of our biggest global goals. Things like developing better energy storage, creating sensors for smarter cities, and just generally pushing the boundaries of what we can even do in manufacturing. So, what are the big takeaways from a journey like this? Well, Dr. Ryu has some really powerful, really clear advice for anyone who wants to be an innovator. She boils it down to a pretty straightforward 3-step guide. First up, know yourself. You've got to figure out what really gets you excited. Is it fundamental science or applied, experimental or theoretical? Step 2, find your tribe. Really do your homework on the research group's culture and its supervisor. Is it a place where you can actually grow? And finally, and this might be the most important one, be courageous. If you realize you've made the wrong choice, you have to have the guts to step back, pivot, and find the path that's really truly for you. And that really brings us right back to where we started. We've seen how Dr. Ryu wrote her nanonovel, literally one atom at a time. So now, the only question left is, what nanonovel will the next generation decide to write?